Hi, thank you for joining me. Today I want to try something a little different, and it's going to be a painting on mixed media paper, and the subject matter will be an owl. And we're going to take this from start to finish and see how it turns out. Okay, so let's get started. I need a sheet of paper. Of course, I have something on it, won't matter. This is the smooth side, and this is the texture side. Some papers have texture on them and some do not. I just prefer to work on the side with texture because it makes it more interesting. So what I do is I just assess the size of the paper and the subject matter. I'm kind of going to put him not quite dead center. He's going to be looking straight ahead, and so I don't want him right in the center, in the middle of the paper, just off to the side slightly. So I'm going to use, of course this is a, hopefully this comes out, this is a lid of a candle. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's in there. Hopefully this light is really aggravating to me. So that's going to be the head of the owl, and this is really simple and cool. This will be the top of his head, and I really want some big eyeballs. So the middle of his face will be his beak, which is sort of a diamond shape. I'm using acrylic paint, so it's not going to really matter. And then this is his ear mark, his ear, and his face will go out a little bit more than his eyeballs, so his eyeballs will probably be, I really want him to be wide-eyed. And that's his little beak there, and so therefore his body is going to come out a little bigger, and there's little feathers, and then of course down here would be his feet. And I'm going to put a little branch. And see if I can zoom that in for you to see it. It's there, I just don't think it's that great. So I'm going to go over it with a darker pencil. So that you can see it. And this is the outer circle. And this would be his beak. He's a wise old owl. The main thing with this is to make the body, check that body's a little bigger on that side. Make the body, and then the feet. Gotta be big enough to hold him up. Of course the branch is going to disappear and come up. That's really all I need. And as you can see, that's a little bit better. So I needed that in there. You can use watercolor for the back, for the background if you like, or you can water down the acrylics. And so I'm going to show you my palette. And this is my palette. And I have cad yellow medium here. This is raw sienna, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, This is a cerulean blue, which you usually use that for the sky. Ultramarine blue, and down here the two dreaded colors that I don't generally use, black and titanium white. This is Mars black and a titanium white. The Mars black is on the bluish note, but you can't really tell, but it's a cool black, and so I'm going to use that. See if we can spread this out here. Keep those over to the side because you may want to see what I'm doing with that. And of course I have my water here, and I have my paper here, and I'm going to use excuse me, I'm going to use the black. And I'm going to use to sort of have a background kind of nightly look on it. I may or may not use these brushes, I'm not sure. These are medium to small brush. I want the color diluted way down, and I'm going to use the blue and the black. And of course my balled up piece of saran wrap or plastic bag, and what I'm doing is dipping it in the water and then dipping it into the two colors that I have over there. And I need it to go into the bird, the tree area, really the entire, this is the background, and I need it to look like the background is there even though the bird is there. And of course, for color harmony's sake, I can really just put that all over. And that is too much. So I'm going to dip the whole piece of plastic in the water. I want to make sure I got some on the edge. And all throughout. And what I generally do now is either use a blow dryer or come back over with ball. Okay, so I usually will let that dry, or I would use a blow dryer on that, but I'm just using a balled up piece of paper towel. And blotting it. I don't want that background to be too dominant. Now the other thing I'm going to do is, it's a little weird, but I have brush, just a regular brush, and I'm dipping into the burnt sienna, and I'm just using a stencil, and I'm going to dip into the raw sienna. I'm not even putting the entire, I'm not even interested in the entire object, and as you see I went right over there. Some of this is a little too dark for me. just using a stencil to create more background noise. This brown, this this blue mixture with that burnt sienna mixture is going to create that darker version. And it's okay as long as it's not too dark. I'm not even concerned that the shapes are not turning out perfectly, because they don't need to. Because it's background noise. I'm just using what's there. And it's okay if it randomly goes over the main subject, which is a way of creating some color harmony and textured harmony also. These things will be painted over, but they'll still be there. The eye has a way of picking it up. And that may be enough. I'll just wipe the stencil off. The top and the bottom of the stencil, I wipe those off, and that's fine. Now I'm going to just randomly, I hadn't made up my mind what color I want it to be the focal or the dominant color, so because it's a night sky, I'm going to try and use the dark colors. And I've never seen an owl that was purple. But I want to create this harmony, and I didn't decide which direction the light is coming from. I can do that later. I'm interested in right now is getting some color in. And I chose these colors to just randomly go with the night, what I thought would be night colors. My main thing here is to cover everything. And as you can tell, I'm not cleaning my brush in between. And the reason I'm not cleaning my brush in between is, for one, the colors will be muddy, and most of the time you don't paint where your colors are still muddy. But I want to cover everything. And once I get everything covered, I can go back. I generally use a lot of burnt sienna. I also tone my canvas with the burnt sienna. A lot of times I'll just use it to tone my canvas. I'm using strokes going up and down, vertical strokes on this owl, and it'll kind of give the effect of the feathers. And only so I know what I'm doing. I want to cover everything, so I'm going to put this here. In there, and I do want him to have some funky white eyes. Now I'll clean my brush somewhat. I still need to address the branch, which I haven't addressed the branch at all. And so I'm going to use this color to address that branch. And yellow and black will make a green. And I'm making it really dark. Because it's at night. And that's just to fill in there. I may not do anything else to that. Because you can tell where the person spent the most attention. And we'll give it some more of this. Now, this has been mixed. If I want to tone this down some, I would use some yellow. Because yellow is a complementary color of purple. And we'll just spruce up the wings, feathers on the wings just a bit. Up and down. And notice I'm not filling, I'm just really spotty. It's not full strokes. And that will give the effect